professionals, know others that work in the mental health field, may battle with mental health illness yourself, or have friends and family that do. So coming together and supporting us today, we thank each and every one of you. So thank you, everybody. So in the year 2000, Kevin Hines attempted to take his life. But he's actually here with us today, and through his strength, courage, and hope, he brings us his story today that's been changing lives and saving lives every day. This is the Kevin Hines story. Are you okay? Is something wrong? Or can I help you? Those were the words that I desperately wanted to hear right before I catapulted myself over the rail. I have now lived 15 years past the day I should have died. When you see a lot of mental illness being expressed, that's a clue that the culture is sick, not the person. Hey, brother. Hello, Kevin. You were the first person to ever say, you know, Kevin, you should talk about this.
Our guest, Kevin Hines, plummeted 200 feet but survived.
Today, I travel the globe spreading a message of hope. Why? Because we know it helps people heal.
There's a huge opportunity as we talk about stories of survival to support people who are out there who are in pain.
I break down on a regular basis. I have symptoms every day. I still have hallucinations, both auditory and visual.
Families of those who jumped from the iconic structure urged to stop the suicides.
One person goes to this bridge to die every 7 to 10 days. I think it's our obligation to stop it.
You go to Paris, go to New York, you go to Istanbul, there are suicide rates. The more people that know about the horror of that bridge, the more pressure will be put to do something to stop it.
Will this really decrease suicides, you think? They say things like, why ruin the aesthetics? What are the aesthetics of bridge compared to one human life?
Kevin Hines, there's no telling how many lives were saved by you because you weren't able to take your own.
Let's get to that place that nobody is being brave who talks about their brain disease. They're just being honest. My name is Kevin Hines, and this is my story. Hi. That was terrible. Let's try that again. Hi. It is great to see you. Just got in off the plane, and it's an honor to be invited to present my story today with all of you. But before I begin to share with you my story, there's something we have to do that's very, very important. Something crucial that we have to do right here, right now, and together. We must take a moment of silence for all of those that we have lost to death by suicide, lethal emotional pain. Before we take that moment of silence, I want us to consider those we've lost this way. In my short 37 years on this beautiful planet, I have lost 8 people I love to this pain. The first being my biological mother, Marcia, may you rest in peace. The second being the greatest teacher I would ever have, John Fennell, a hero of mine and a second father figure. The third being my first psychiatrist, dubbed as one of the best in the field. The fourth being a great friend of mine, my wrestling partner, Mr. Marty Bonet. I miss you terribly. The fifth, the sixth, the seventh, and the eighth were equally as painful. and equally as beautiful human beings. But today is not about the way they died or the day they died. No, today is about how those people lived in the first place. Today is about the beauty that they were and the light that would exude from within them when they were still here. And today, we must choose to hold immeasurable gratitude for the very little time we had with them. Let us honor their memories today. Let us hold their memories dear, right here to our chests and our hearts. Let us know that they mattered and they had value. Let us recognize their worth and that suicide did not have to be their option. And sadly that they passed, and as devastating as it is, we can find a way to look to the living and move forward. I don't think we can ever move on from a suicide. I don't think that's possible. People tell us in America we gotta stop grieving when we lose people. Ever hear that? Oh, James been gone for 7 years, John's been gone for 12 years. Let it go. How can you stop grieving someone you love unconditionally? Right? You can't, and you don't have to. You get to grieve as long as you need for someone you lost this way or any other way. Somebody tells you to stop grieving the loss of someone you cared for that deeply, you tell them Kevin Hines said to sit down. All right? Now, right here, right now, please put down your utensils. Let's take a moment of silence for all of those that we have lost this way. He is ancient, yet ageless. He is ticking, yet timeless. He runs, not hunted, he chases. He is a man of many faces. He is the darkness. I am the light. I may be cracked, but I will never be broken. I wrote that limerick in 8th grade about the intense duality I felt inside since 4th grade. 4th grade was the first time I ever heard auditory hallucinations in my head. Voices seemingly not that of my conscience, telling me things I had to do that I didn't want to. I heard auditory hallucinations, but I didn't know what they were saying. I couldn't comprehend what they meant. They were angry with me and they hated me, that much I knew. 4th grade was also the time from kindergarten through 4th grade that I was bullied to no end, hazed to no end by 8th graders, 7th graders, and 6th graders for the color of my skin. As a matter of fact, 8th graders to a 4th grader would hold my head down and say, swing, little N-word, swing, because I was part black, because I was adopted. And I wasn't like them, they said. Or they would pull my ears to the side as hard as they could and say, whistle, little N-word whistle from behind me. Or Tony Rivera and Mike Ramirez would hold me from behind me so I couldn't move and punch me in the gut until I ran out of air. It went right in my sternum. And it would hide the bruises so I wouldn't tell my family. Heard voices in 4th grade. Anybody wonder why? You know? Now, if we're going to really tell this story and do it justice, we have to go back to the true beginning. The day I was born, August 30th, 1981, in the great city of San Francisco, in the beautiful state of California, to biological parents Marcia Silvera and Martino Perales. Martino was half Mexican and half Italian, arguably best parts of me. And Marcia hailed from James Bond Island, Jamaica, from St. Mary's Island. That's where she was from. They found each other in the 1970s in San Francisco. These two lovebirds fell madly in love in the post-hippie era, and they were hippies through and through. They were in the free love era, and they were enjoying themselves. They had 2 kids, all right, within like 12 months. They were busy. Anyway, all right, we're adults, we understand. And Marcia and Martino fell madly in love. And they had, in my humble opinion, 2 beautiful baby boys. Yes. At least one of them, anyway. And so my mother says, anyway. That was the joke. Come on, I'm trying here. And so Marcia and Martino had 2 boys. My biological name was not Kevin Hines. It was Giovanni Gabriel Perales. Say that 10 times fast. Try it once. I dare you. I dare you. Go right now. No? No takers? And hey, how do I get 4 names? And my brother's name is just Jordash. What's that about, Mom and Dad? Where are his other three names? And so Jordash and I were born into a place of pain. Because Mom and Dad had no one and nothing. They had no feasible legal income. They had to hustle to survive. They did squirt and sold drugs. And it was sad. And it was terrifying. We lived in places with concrete slab floors. The kind of places you paid for by the hour, and if you didn't, you were out. Places with dangerous drug paraphernalia on the beds right next to us as infants when they left us unattended daily to go do store or sell drugs, which was every day, to keep a roof over our heads because they loved us. They had to hustle. When they left us next to dangerous drug paraphernalia, had we touched it, it killed us. Or left us easily able to fall off that bed onto the concrete slab floors and crack our heads open and pass away. They did that for us. One fateful day, one seedy motel clerk made his most unseedy decision. He heard our screams and cries in his mind one too many times, did us the first solid anybody ever would, and called the police. The police came in with Child Protective Services. They swooped us up and they placed us into the system. Who knows what system I speak of? Come on, I need to hear you. What system? Thank you, foster care. For the one person that responded, I apologize. I was talking to everybody. This is an interactive presentation. Come on, folks. You're adults. You're important, but we're gonna get together here. We're a unit today. We're doing this together. So it was the foster care system, a system that in the 1970s and 80s in San Francisco was in shambles. A system that allowed kids to age out to 18 onto the streets and homelessness without a penny in their pockets. A system that allowed kids to be abused and neglected by foster parents who were supposed to be protecting them. A system for all the great it does in this world, for all the good foster parents that do exist, and they do exist. It still does both of those things. My brother and I would bounce around from home to home, having a new mom and dad every couple of weeks or days, but no stability. And then my brother and I would get a vicious strain of bronchitis. And we were supposed to be adopted together. You think that's what happened? Not by a